From a group of guys who clearly needed a bigger crane to lower their boat, and an epic fail in Brazil that took out 2 ships at once, to a driver in Florida who backed his pickup too close to the water, and much more. Here are 7 boat launches that went horribly wrong. In general, yachts cost anywhere between $500,000 and $10 million. It depends on the size, year, model, and how many unnecessary things you add. Now that's not counting how much it costs to maintain, store, and move the boat each year. They're a luxury only the ultra-rich can afford. That's why nobody shed any tears when this Russian oligarch watched his multi-million-dollar yacht crash into the water. We assume they had decent boat insurance. This CCTV footage is old, but it's definitely a classic. You see the crane slowly lowering the boat into the water, but almost immediately can notice the front end beginning to dip down. A few seconds later, it spins and the whole thing slips loose and crashes into the canal. They probably could have salvaged it if the yacht landed right side up. Unfortunately, the naturally buoyant hull will keep it from rolling over. You can see some spectators standing off to the side, but you have to wonder if one of them was the owner. If not, then just imagine having to make that call. Sorry, sir, but we kinda dropped your boat. Weight isn't the only thing you have to consider when lifting heavy objects with a crane. Distance is actually half the battle. The further you have to extend the arm, the more counterweight you need to keep from tipping over. That lesson clearly went over this operator's head as they tried to lower a boat into the water. We think this accident happened somewhere in Brazil based on a few comments. The innocent ferry was just trying to float when the crane decided to ruin its day. And we're not sure how much damage the accident caused, but it's likely in the hundreds of thousands of dollars range. Haulover Inlet is a notoriously dangerous body of water in Miami, Florida. Many people have damaged their boats or gotten in serious trouble on this tiny strip. That's because the tide pulls water out while the wind pushes it back in. It makes the water extra rough at times. Now, sometimes boaters get in trouble before they ever get on the water. Take this couple who tried backing their yacht into the marina and nearly lost their truck.
Oh no. Keep it running! Hey, tell them to keep it running! Hey! Keep it running! Keep it running! Do not turn it off!
Thankfully, they could push the truck enough that it caught the ground and drove out of the water. While the inside was soaked, the owner was happy the truck wasn't a total loss. We hear our cameraman telling him not to turn off the engine, but why? Water can run through and flood the engine if your exhaust pipe is submerged. But as long as the engine's running, gases flowing out will stop the water from entering. If water gets in the engine, it causes the cylinders to flood and stall. This is called a hydraulic lock. Trying to start the car again can cause serious damage to the engine. Fixing water damage to the interior is way cheaper than a brand new engine. The Balenciaga Shipyard, not to be confused with the fashion company, is a 100-year-old shipbuilding port in northern Spain. They began in 1921, building small wooden ships. Today, they make massive vessels capable of traveling the globe. On July 18th of 2022, a crowd gathered to watch Balenciaga launch its latest creation. The Edda Goello was a service operation vessel meant to help at an offshore wind farm in France. Unfortunately, Balenciaga couldn't call this one a total success.
Hostia. Joder.
Everything went according to plan until that rope got stuck on the dock. We think it was supposed to fall off as the ship pulled away, but it got caught on something. You can tell by the way everyone moves away that this wasn't supposed to happen. They're just lucky that nobody was in the way when that piece snapped off like a rocket. The sound and sheer force of it was scary enough. There's nothing like taking the boat out for the first ride of the season. But while some owners keep their ships docked through the winter, these guys decided to keep theirs on land. Someone thought hooking their boat to a crane and lowering it into the water was a good idea. It would have worked had they done their math right and gotten a bigger crane. Unfortunately, someone made a gross miscalculation.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Thankfully, the guys on the boat jumped to safety before it fell into the water. You can see where the mast snaps before the whole thing rolls over. Needless to say, these guys weren't setting sail anytime soon. Cranes are often used in the boating industry to lift boats in and out of the water. It's something that's common all over the world, but from time to time, things are bound to go wrong. Back in mid-2022, a crane was attempting to lift a small yacht into the water in Belarus when things took a turn for the worst. You can see the steel I-beams used to hold the strapping. Each one has 2 straps on it, which are then run underneath the boat. For the most part, things looked pretty secure, but that didn't last long.
Ну ты каждый день смотришь, как кран что-то поднимает, я не знаю. Да, я живу в городе Catastrophically. Пиздец. Как это почуял. У меня аж пульс подпрыгнул, чела. Да ничего не было. Это вообще нормально. Я бы ее на воду уже не ставил.
Following the crash, workers rushed to put some supports under the boat. We assume so they could lower it all the way down and try again. But there was no telling how much damage was sustained by that crash. According to our sources, the hull was severely damaged and the engine damaged beyond repair. You can see the moment the strapping slides off the front as they're attempting to turn it. From there, it was all downhill. A couple of people stand with their hands on their heads, clearly in disbelief at what just happened. The description says the boat is worth more than $10,000, and we'd have to agree with that. Hopefully, whoever owns it has some good insurance. Vancouver is a major city in British Columbia, Canada. It's home to about 662,000 people and 2 dudes that almost ruined their tiny boat. It was January 21st of 2011. A group of friends was getting ready to hit the cold Canadian lakes. They had 2 trucks and 2 boats. The first one made it down to the water without issue. The second launch didn't go so well. Thankfully, the guy in the back was okay. He hopped out and helped his buddy lower the boat the rest of the way. While it wasn't pretty, they did manage to get it in the water. These types of trailers have wheels that allow the boat to easily roll off and into the water. They also have a lock on the front, allowing you to secure the bow of your dinghy. You can see where the other boat is fastened to the trailer. That's why it doesn't flip. The other guys thought they could keep it down with a rope. That was clearly a bad idea. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, then be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching and be sure to tune in next time.